Now we're actually standing right in front of the booth. They are booth number 7, raising funds for St. Jude's Hospital. And as you look inside, you'll see they already have the trophy up, and almost every single table in here is full. Stuff the Bus, a local campaign to get your kids the school supplies that they need to get through the school year. Last year it was virtual, but this year the bus is back. They're bringing out goats right now. If you look, you'll see that they got a couple of kids and billy goats that they are now loading onto this truck. Volunteers are still out here at Brookport Park filling up thousands of sandbags to prevent water from getting into the city, with 1,000 more on the way. Heavy rain and strong winds uprooted trees like this one here all across the city's rural areas. We've seen in the past several weeks that there have been several crashes, some of them deadly. I caught up with travelers today to ask them what it is that they're seeing and what they expect from you as you get behind the wheel. While wearing his mask, Carlos delivered goodie bags here at Baptist Health. But here at Mercy Health Lord's Hospital, the marketing department picked up their goodie bags to deliver to their medical team. They are not taking any cash, so you need to have this in order to get this. Eating popcorn and enjoying a movie. Live in Paducah, Temi Adeleye, WPSD Local 6. Jeff McFarland rides his mountain bike at Land Between the Lakes. Ann Lee hunts for mushrooms. Both are concerned about possible budget cuts to recreation and heritage.
They made good use of the land and did a lot of good stuff with it and made the lakes, so the fishing and hunting and all that, but now they're talking about doing away with a lot of it, but they don't want to put any money back into it, and it's kind of sad.
Once they pull that funding, then they've broken that promise, and that's what I feel they've done. They really haven't done enough to make this viably an economic place.
Lyon County Judge Executive Wade White provided us these charts and graphs he got from the U.S. Forest Service. They detail allocated spending categories dating back to the fiscal year 2010. The Recreation and Heritage line item has dropped significantly. Funding for 2020 was $1.8 million. It dropped to roughly $77,000 in 2021. And what appears to be the proposed 2022 budget is blank. White said without that funding, there'd be no money for things like trail maintenance and LBL station operations. We contacted the Forest Service to ask if there'd be no funding for that line item in 2022. In an email, they said, quote, "In our efforts to be transparent, information was mistakenly sent from LBL to local county officials containing incomplete information. Any information projecting budgets for future years is not accurate." In response to that statement, Judge Executive White texted us this quote: "The Region 8 Forest Service called a meeting with the Judge Executive of Lyon and Trigg and Mayor of Stewart County to share a proposed budget that suddenly doesn't exist. If you'll buy that, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona, and from my front porch, you can see the sea." In the meantime, people like Jeff and Ann will keep wondering.
I don't know what the scope of this is.
There's trails on the south end, campgrounds, just lots of stuff for people to enjoy that's going to be gone if they do what they say they're going to do.
Waiting on answers to big questions. In Land Between the Lakes, Temi Adeleye, WPSD Local 6. TikTok is the place to see and learn just about anything. It's a format people use to have some fun and even launch careers. That's what Carson Searcy's using it for, showing off his singing skills.
I started just making videos for fun, and they started kind of getting some traction, so I really went for it and delved in and started doing acting TikToks and singing TikToks. Hey there.
But one night, while taking a casual ride with cousins, Carson made an unexpected TikTok.
Oh, I hope he doesn't die.
It's so cute.
What do you give Al for breakfast? I saw just a huge wing come up from the side of the road, and I tried to dodge. I moved, but I still ended up sideswiping him and bumping him into the grass.
Roger, why are you in my sink?
You could call it foul play, but Searcy didn't leave the barred owl.
It was such a weird thing to happen, just to hit an owl, to have an owl in your arms, like such a crazy creature. I've always liked owls.
It was a hoot, but they couldn't wing it forever. So Roger left the nest for the Western Kentucky Raptor Center.
We're hoping that he's going to go out here and find his family for tonight. I'm sure they've been wondering where he's been for the last month, but he doesn't have any more head trauma. His wings are good.
Wildlife rehabilitator Grant Allen says if you do hit a critter like Roger, you need to be sure to call the closest wildlife rehabilitation center to you to get them the help that they need.
You ready to go find your family? You remember me?
Carson and Roger met again where it all started, for this moment.
1, 2, 3.
When he was able to fly, I was like, that's my son.
Soaring off to new heights. In Melbourne, Kentucky, Temi Adeleye, WPSD Local 6. Yes, they can, especially if they work for a privately owned business like a hospital. I spoke with an attorney who says you have to be mindful about what you say on social media.
Obviously, you have a right to your opinion, but your employer has a right to maintain the reputation of its workplace.
Paducah attorney Wes Sullinger says he's gotten several calls from employees who were terminated for their comments on their personal Facebook page.
The most frequent thing I hear is, I have a First Amendment right. Sure, that's true. The First Amendment to the Constitution gives you the right to free speech and to freedom of your opinions, subject to limitations like threats of violence. But the First Amendment, the Constitution only applies against the government, and most of us work for private employers.
The employee, who was later identified as a Baptist Health Paducah employee, posted a video yesterday with an opinion on the present racial tensions in the U.S. People expressed their outrage, calling the comments racist. The hospital later posted this message saying the employee was fired. In Mayfield, Kentucky, Crystal Fox, who was temporarily unemployed due to COVID-19, is now permanently unemployed. A former mental health associate, she was contracted by Mountain Comprehensive Care Center to work at Mayfield Independent Schools. Fox posted this to her page last week, talking about the racial injustice across the nation. She says she called out the Mayfield Independent Schools on their silence on the racial tensions going on.
I felt that the district should have spoken out and let our students know, our parents know that they stood with us.
In the post, she says, in part, it is not okay that a school district wait until the Kentucky Department of Education told them it was okay to have conversations. In a statement, the superintendent says he asked Mountain Comprehensive to reassign Fox. The statement says he did not ask the company to terminate her. In this letter from the company, Fox is told in part, your temporary layoff is now permanent. You have been employed as a school-based therapist. There is no longer a position for you in that school system upon their request.
I took that stance that being silent is complicit, a statement that MLK has made before, so I stand by that statement.
Sullinger says there are several measures you can take to avoid these situations, like knowing your employer's social media policy.
Lock down your page. Don't have it public so that anyone can just snoop on you and see what you're saying. And don't talk about things that you know are likely to reflect on your employer.
I reached out to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center for comment and didn't hear back. I tried reaching out to the former Baptist Health employee for comment, but the Facebook page and Twitter account that was said to belong to that person has been taken down.
All right, Temi, thank you. Sullinger says